Two dogs dig into the forest floor and uncover a hidden grave with a young man's body. I'm Detective Claire Harlow, and it didn't take long to realize this wasn't just a murder. It was a friendship torn apart by love for the same girl. The killer buried the body, but he couldn't bury the truth. Because the forest always spits out its secrets, especially the ones stained with blood. The call came just as the sun was bleeding into the morning sky. Thin, pale, and tired, Sheriff Daniels didn't bother with greetings. "Harlow, you need to get down to Willow Creek." Some hikers' dogs turned up something ugly. That sentence had a weight only cops truly understood. I killed my engine at the trailhead and stepped out into the cold breath of Oregon's coastal woods. The fog hugged the pines like a secret, and a cluster of nervous onlookers stood behind the yellow tape as if fear itself held them there. Two golden retrievers, panting in mud, caked, sat beside their owner, tails still, ears lowered as if they sensed the gravity of what they'd uncovered. Deputy Ross met me with a tight jaw. "It's a body, detective." Fresh enough that the dogs didn't have to dig long. The ground was torn open in frantic scrapes, exposing a shallow grave. A hand, grayish, stiff, and horribly human, jutted through the soil like it was reaching for help that never came. I crouched, my breath fogging the air. Male, young, buried in a rush. The forest had tried to swallow him, but nature has a way of coughing up what doesn't belong. Dogs found something else. Ross said quietly, up the slope. What he handed me in the evidence bag made my stomach clench. A torn photograph, two young men, grinning with the kind of reckless joy youth grants too easily, behind them. One woman, dark-haired, radiant, and standing a little too close to both. A triangle, and triangles rarely end without someone getting cut. As the medical examiner's crew moved in, sunlight pierced the fog, falling directly on the victim's shoulder, bruising. A strike from behind, coward's blow, or a friend's betrayal. I stood there, listening to the woods settle, and a cold certainty crawled up my spine. Someone hadn't just killed a man, they'd buried their guilt. Literally. They just didn't bury it deep enough. We identified him by noon. Jason Miller. 24, mechanic, missing for 3 weeks. His parents lost sleep. The town lost interest, but the forest hadn't forgotten. The next piece was the woman in the photo. I found Emily Rhodes at the Harbor Point Tavern, where the smell of old beer and fried grease clung to the wooden floors. The moment she saw my badge, her shoulders stiffened the way guilty or grieving people do. "You found him, didn't you?" She whispered, "Let's sit." I said. We slipped into a booth in the dim corner. Emily's fingers trembled as she twisted a silver ring round and round her knuckle. "Tell me about Jason." "We were friends," she said quickly, too quickly. "We went out a few times, but it wasn't serious." And the other man in this photo, her breath snagged in her throat, Aaron Blake, she said, "Jason's best friend, since forever, and your relationship with him." She looked away. Messy. I let the silence stretch until it forced honesty. Finally, she exhaled, voice breaking. "They were both in love with me, and I cared for both of them, just not the way they wanted." Love triangle confirmed. But often triangles have a fourth point. Secrets, did they fight about you? I asked. Tears welled in her eyes. They stopped talking 2 days before Jason vanished. Aaron thought Jason betrayed him. Did he? Emily closed her eyes. Jason said Aaron had become obsessive, jealous, angry. Jason was scared, but he thought Aaron would cool off. He didn't. I went to find Aaron at his home near Mill Road. He opened the door shirtless, sweating, breathing like he'd been working hard to bury something, or dig something up. "You hear about Jason," he said, eyes bright with an emotion I couldn't place. "Yes. When I asked where he was the night Jason disappeared, his jaw clenched. Home, he said, alone, no witnesses, and stay out of my yard. That yard was trouble. The ground disturbed, the shovel marks fresh, the lies obvious, but suspicion isn't evidence. Yet, I left with more questions than answers, and one bone, deep certainty, the photograph wasn't just a memory. It was a motive. The autopsy confirmed the truth most killers never consider. Dead bodies tell stories, and this one spoke loudly. Jason was struck from behind with a blunt object. The blow fractured his skull. He died instantly, a betrayal, not a fight. With that, I secured a warrant. Aaron Blake wasn't home when we searched his property, but his secrets were. Behind the shed, buried beneath a top, we found it, a hammer. Blood, stained soil, stained, Jason's DNA all over it. The grave in the woods had been desperation. This was stupidity. By nightfall, I was back at the station writing the arrest report when the front doors slammed open. Aaron stormed in. "You think I killed him?" He barked. I didn't reply. His breathing cracked under its own weight. "Jason betrayed me. He took Emily from me. Emily wasn't yours," I said quietly. His hands shook. "He lied. He said he wasn't seeing her anymore. Said he respected me." His voice twisted, but he was sneaking around with her. "So you confronted him?" "I just wanted to talk." "Then why bring a hammer?" He froze. And that was the moment the tiny crack where guilt slipped through. It wasn't supposed to happen. He whispered. He laughed at me, turned his back, called me pathetic. "So you hit him?" He sank into a chair. I panicked. I buried him. I thought the forest would hide everything, but the dogs didn't agree. I said. A broken laugh escaped him. Thin, wild, defeated. Those damn dogs. He was arrested on the spot. At the sentencing, Emily cried quietly in the front row, not for herself, not even for Jason, but for the fragility of love, and the brutality of jealousy, and me. I still drive past Willow Creek sometimes. The forest stands silent, pretending it knows nothing, but I know the truth. Some killers bury their guilt, some bury their victims, but the earth remembers everything, and sooner or later, it always spits the truth back out. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.